Alright, so for the painting number 1, this is what we're going to start with. And we're going to separate our compositions, painting 1, painting 2. I know we're doing mixed media, but it's just easier to say painting 1, painting 2. So with the first painting, we're going to utilize some of our stained paper techniques. For our background, it's going to be primarily building on top of three-dimensionally by adding different types of paper and other materials that you want to add. Now, you don't have to do it exactly like I'm doing. You can add to it however you want. There's really no wrong way to do mixed media, as long as the elements that you're adding represent a theme or a concept that works together to tie the design in as a whole. We don't want just random weirdness with this project. We want to kind of tie some things together. So you can see I have my stained paper that I used, and this is with the coffee. You can stain with paint, you can stain with really just about any media that you want to, and you definitely can utilize color in your designs, but these are from different books. These are the watercolor pages. I really liked how the watercolor pages turned out. And here's some more pages from books as well. I definitely am going to use Mod Podge. And we want to use an old brush with that. So I got my Mod Podge ready to go. Got my old brush. And I definitely am going to use some other elements as well. I have some scrapbook pages. And I'm just going to throw down some color first and some of this beat up paper, the stained paper on top of it. So when you're using Mod Podge, it's going to dry clear, but it definitely looks like it's going to add some white element and take away the color of what you're doing, but it's going to dry clear, so you don't have to worry about any of that. We're going to put a generous layer on the back. And I'm going to place that on there. Now when you place it on there, try to rub it as flat as you can. I have a rolling pin that helps me. Any round bottle will work. We're going to get that to lay as flat as we can, unless your design warrants some wrinkles or some bubbles in it. Once we get it pressed onto the canvas, we're going to add some of this Mod Podge to the front surface. And again, this is just going to help it stick or adhere to the canvas, and it's going to dry clear. So you might be like, oh geez, I don't know if I want to do that. But don't worry, it's going to dry clear and it'll look just fine when we're done. Let's go ahead and add the second. And the main thing you want to do is you want to make sure you rub it and spread the Mod Podge. But we definitely want to get the edges glued down. And depending on, you know, what you're adding next, you may have to let this dry. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and overlap some of this textured paper. And the nice thing about this paper that we're going to use is we can rip it. And when you rip it, you can create different textured lines within the design. You can fold it, you can wrinkle it, and we can create some different textures and like that as we glue it down. Now, it's totally up to you how you want to do it. We just want to kind of play around before we glue it. And we can cut it with scissors. We don't have to rip and tear, but it's also kind of fun. So I'm going to lay down some paper, and then I'll show you how it looks once I get that first layer completed.